Yo, how's it say? What's up? Recently, I've been hit with serious problem. I connect my PC to the internet, hop on the ultra tiny TikTok, and see the modern you don't know shit about the classic gaming industry at all. But then it hit me, this needs to be fixed. So now, I will paint 2 and give you a quick rundown of once popular cult games were all about, using techniques like swearing, video editing and memes. And we're gonna kick this whole thing off with Persona 4 Golden. Like in every game, we start at the game menu, hit new game, choose the difficulty, and then the intro starts. From the very first seconds we don't fucking understand what the hell is going on, just like in most games, but soon enough we greeted by a dude with a nose as one has main dick and a brother's name, Igor. He tells us that we're in the violet room, a world exists between sleep and reality, mind and matter. Then he explains the only sound bound by a contact can get here, and he asks us what our name is. Like in any Japanese game, I call myself Uribu Fujiwara. After that Jujutsu defines our future, and of course nothing fucking good awaits us. Likewise, this one nose has market, aka his right hand. Meanwhile, our hero is already approaching the town of Inaba, where his uncle Dojima and his daughter Nanuko await him.
What are you so shy for? Ow!
For now, there'll be his new family, since his parents are damn busy with work in another city and he didn't want to leave the little type maker on his own. Dojima invites us into his sedan, but just as I'm about to get in, I accidentally drop the piece of paper. The emo girl picks it up and hands it to me back. We say thanks to her and head over to the Dojima place. While scarfing down some sushis, we chat a bit. But then Dojima gets a call and rushes out the house. We watch the news with Nanako and go to sleep. And in our dream, we end up with some fucking who knows where, a place where aside from tragedy forward and fucking some incredible creature, nothing interesting happens. We head to school and see some guy crash into a pole. But our protagonist doesn't care, so we keep moving all the way to the classroom. There, our homeroom teacher Kinshiro can introduce us to the class. But I'm just gonna call him Piano Boy, since his teeth remind me of... From our chat with him, we figured we landed in a really shitty class. But we don't give a fuck, because like any school kid, we wanna get out here as soon as possible. Yet after class we thought not to leave since some incident occurred. But soon enough everything wraps up and we have to go home, only to have hot teeth cut us off and ask why don't we walk home together. As you can guess, I couldn't say no, so with main guy Chie Satanake and Yukiko Amagi we set off for our houses. But as we leave school we interrupted by something that doesn't even look human, which suggested Yukiko should go out with him. But she shuts him down.
You bitch!
Halfway home, we found out exactly what happened. The corpse of TV host Mayumi Yamano was discovered, and that's when we pieced together where Dojima had to rush off to yesterday. In case you haven't figured out yet, Dojima is detective and this accident putting a huge load on his work. Dojima also has a partner, Adachi, but for now we don't give a fuck about him. The next day, on our way to school we run into the same guy, again. But this time he somehow managed to get him stuck in Tashkent. Not waiting to be a complete asshole, we happen to get out, and then head off for yet another boring day at school. After school, with new gang, we decide to grab some group at tunes. During the meal, we learn a bit more about our friends. For example, Yosuke also used to live in a big city like us, but he moved to Inaba 6 months ago because his dad works as manager at Jeunesse. And Chi, she's an energetic, determined and caring girl who's totally crazy about martial arts. While we having a nice chat, Yosuke notices his little love interest, Saki, approaching. After a brief conversation, she leaves, and she starts brutally throwing Yosuke by telling him the legend of Midnight Channel, saying that on any night, if you turn the TV, you may just see your future love. Back home, we like typical Japanese family are watching TV. Suddenly, a familiar face appears on the screen. It's Saki, giving an interview. It turns out she was the first one to find the dead body of Mayumi Yamano, but instead Saki dodges the journalistic questions. And that's where the news ends.
Every day's great at your Junas.
We head off to sleep, but before that we decide to check if the Midnight Channel legend is real. At first, nothing interesting happens, but in a moment silhouette of mysterious woman appears on the screen. However, due to interference, we can't make out who she is. Our hero, of course, decides to group the TV as to feel the touches of feminine love, and he falls in, but luckily for him the damn TV is too small, so he quickly climbs out and bangs his head on the edge of the table. The next day at school, we learn that Chie and Yosuke also saw the woman on the screen. Yosuke is clearly excited about the discovery, while Chie looks worried. Our main hero shares with them the story how he falls on the TV, but everyone just thinks he is bullshitter. After school, our us head over to Junes to check out the cool TV panels, and also to see if it's really possible to fall into TV. Unfortunately, or fortunately, Yosuke and Chie can pull it off, so they decide that our hero must have just made the whole thing up.
This proves it. It was all just a dream.
They go off to look at budget models, while we try to replicate our yesterday experience. And we do it. Our friends notice, but choke it all up to a magic trick, until our main hero ends up how climbing into TV.
What are you doing?
Oh my god!
Everyone starts losing their shit, and then panic, because consultant is already approaching. What to do? What to do? Right, we slam ourselves into the main hero at full speed and fight together into the mysterious world. We find ourselves in a place covered in a thick fog. There's not anything inside, so we decide to investigate what's going on. Soon we stumble upon a room, who is fully covered with a poster of a girl, or rather, poster in which her face has been ripped out. Who the hell could that have been? Looks like there's nothing else interesting here. So after Yosuke pieces on the wall,
Yosuke, what are you doing?
we decide to go back to the beginning. There we are met by Kuma. No, unfortunately not from One Piece. He said that we kinda disturbed him and tell us to get the fuck out as quick as possible.
What's going on now? Whoa! Hey! What are you doing?
Stop pushing!
The next day at school, we get some shocking news. Saki Konishi has been found dead. Her body was discovered hanging from a telephone pole. Yosuke made the record that TV host was also seen on Midnight Channel a few days before her death. He figured that the answer must lie somewhere in the TV world, exactly where he plans to go. Our protagonist agrees with his theory. It sounds damn possible. Meanwhile, cheating is completely bullshit, but to be on the safe side, she decides to come along. Arriving at the spot with Chi, we saw Yosuke already waiting for us, with a rope and club. His plan was simple. Once he and our protagonists were done, Chi would pull the rope so they could get out there. But there's a problem. The rope is broken.
See? I knew this wasn't gonna work. Now what?
After we end up in TV world, we meet Kuma again. He is clearly pissed that we disturbed him his peace once more. Moreover, he claimed that it's us who are dumping people here. At first, we don't understand what the hell he's talking about, and start trying to explain ourselves. The conversation quickly escalates into a fight. Everyone starts blaming each other. Yosuke loses his cool and decides to explore Kuma's secret. He walks up to him, grabs him by the skin and starts peeling off his costume. But there's nothing underneath. Realizing that we're all innocent, we promise to find out who's behind these abductions. Meanwhile, Kuma reveals his real name. Teddy. Pretty lame, right? To help us with investigation, he gave us a pair of glasses that clear away the ticker of fog and lead us to a place that looks exactly like our town in the real world. Yosuke remembered that there's a little store nearby run by Saki Pants, so we decided to check it out. Arriving there, we realized that something is definitely off. For starters, the door has been replaced by a portal, and while our charters aren't exactly covered, they're definitely a bit on the edge before stepping inside. But before we can do anything, shadows start pouring out the portal. Everyone loses their shit. But it doesn't end there. The shadows start acting like total assholes and pick a fight. And what do we do with punks like that? That's right, we fuck them up first. So we awaken our persona, stack the most baddest battle stance, and take down those bastards. Now let's pause for a brief philosophical reflection. What exactly is persona? A persona isn't just a battle mechanic. It's a metaphor for a personal growth, for a passing your fears and your true self. In short. With that insane power, we effortlessly taken down the shadows and head into the wine store. Here we hear Saki's true thoughts about how Yosuke has pissed her off to no end, and that she would told him to fuck off long ago, if he not his father, who is a big shot at Junes. But she worked there, and honestly she hates that store. Yosuke is utterly shattered, heartbroken, but then out of nowhere the silence is pierced by someone mocking laugh. Not just anyone, it's Yosuke himself, more precisely, it's his shadow. Weak side note, a character shadow is a hidden part of their personality that embodies their fears, complex and raw emotions. And if a character denies the truth about themselves, their shadow automatically becomes aggressive and mutates into a boss. But if they accept their inner demons, the shadows transform into persona. At first, Yosuke obviously refuses to accept his own flaws. That of course leads to a boss fight. We kick the boss's ass, hype Yosuke up, and he finally accepts his dark side. Back in a real world, we find Chia, who for a second thought we'd never return. Then in a full-blown meltdown, she yelled that she hates us and completely pissed off runs out of Junes. Another night of watching the Midnight Channel. This time we see silhouette of girl who seems to be wearing a kimono. Who could it be? No clue. So we just go to sleep. But then Igor calls in. He tells us that I am badass and now I have a persona. But if I want to get even stronger, I need to level up my social links. All of this of course fascinating, but the next morning. On our way to school we ran into Yosuke, who also saw someone on Midnight Channel but couldn't make out who it was. In his opinion, ignoring this isn't an option. At school, we apologize to Chia, but she hardly cares. She said that on the Midnight Channel they shot Yukiko because the girl in the kimono looks a lot like her. Besides, she didn't show up at school today. Something seriously stinks. Not willing to leave anything to chance, we go into the hotel of her parents and find out that she is fine. But to be absolutely sure, we decide to head to Junes. If our theory is right, someone must be in TV world. However, after chat with Kuma, we realize that he hasn't sniffed out anyone new. Now let's shift gears on the investigation to our uncle Dojima and his partner Adachi. Their case on the serious mysterious murder has hit at that end. No leads, no connection between the victims, and worst at all, no a single trace of the killer. Judging by their conversation, it's the first time they completely pause against the unknown. Still, they have no choice but to keep digging, hoping to stumble upon even the smallest clue. Back home as usual, we turn on the Midnight Channel and see Yukiko staying as the main character in the show. Princess Yukiko hunts her charming prince. As the title suggests, she is on the lookout for a guy, but she behaves in a way upfront, even vulgar way, which is nothing like the real her.
Well, Here I go!
We discussed it with Yosuke and decided to meet up Junes in the morning. And guess what? This idiot showed up armed.
Kinda like this? Or like this? What about this?
Of course they pack us up and haul us to the police station. Likely Uncle Dojima becomes our savior. He vouches for us while not missing to the chance to lay into us pretty hard. Meanwhile, other cops vibe chatting about how a girl from a big company has gone missing, but they all chalk it up to her simply deciding to run away from home. Dojima leaves and instead we run into his partner, who lays out all the details of the case for us. Now, we got enough evidence to draw the obvious conclusion: Yukiko is in serious danger. But before we kick off the rescue operation, we need to arm ourselves. Unfortunately, there's no way to get back the confiscated weapons. That's when Chi comes to rescue, knowing a spot where we can score some real weaponry.
Here we are.
After stocking up on everything we need from the old man, we decide to head home and change into our school uniforms, cause you can easily hide weapons in them. But on our way home, out of nowhere, a portal to the varied room appears, and Igor invites us in. There we meet our old female acquaintance, who is now sitting next to Igor. He explains the new features to us, things like persona fusion, registering them in the Cupedium, and a bunch of the other shit. We don't stick around for long and almost immediately head to Junes. Then from there into TV world. Meanwhile, Kuma has already sniffed something out and without wasting any time lead us straight to the place. This place turns out to be that very castle we saw on TV. There's nothing left to do but head inside. Inside, the place is crawling with freaking shadows. Just look at them, licking their lips like a bunch of damn parrots. The only ones allowed to harass me like that are Billy Hamilton, may he rest in peace, and my good buddy Orange. Anyway, we make it to the second floor, where we hear Yukiko's voice praising how awesome and sweet Jay is, how she protects her, and that without her, Yukiko is nothing. But then, out of nowhere, Chi's shadows appears and spills her dark thoughts. It claims that without her, Yukiko is nothing, and that, in fact, she doesn't even like Yukiko because of her femininity and purpleness. The only reason they're even friends, she says, is so Chi can always feel dominant. But Chi refuses to accept her dark side, and so a big boss fight breaks out, a fight that wraps up pretty quickly. In the end, she finally accepts her dark side, and we decide to put everything off for later, cause everyone's already on edge, especially Chi.
I'm okay.
After spending a few days guiding our social links, we set off back to the castle. A few floors in, we stumble upon a Yukiko and her shadow. Yukiko's shadow says she needs a prince on a white horse to whisk her away from this miserable life. She can't stand anything around her anymore and feels that the burden of responsibility is way too heavy and she hates it. And as is customary in this game, Yukiko refuses to accept her dark side, so we end up fighting her stance for shadow. She looks like a red bird tapping in a cage, perfectly emphasizing her sentence of confinement. In Japanese culture, red often symbolizes patience and intense emotions, but in Yukiko's case it also reflects her inner struggle and repressed anger born of a lack of freedom. And if you take a look at all boss fights we have seen so far, you can tell me that each underscores the deep psychological state of the character. So, Persona 4 isn't just about investigations, it's about something more. After we defeat Yukiko's shadow, she realizes that it's a part of her, accepts it, and gains her persona. And what happened next we find out in the next part, which I highly recommend you don't miss. So, here's a word of advice. Play some good games. See you soon.